Hi, this is Chris Mazzara, a certified holistic nutritionist and author of Food Love and the Tariff Diet. So the first thing that you have to understand is that there are two types of people when it comes to weight loss. Group number one, these are people that have to restrict themselves from their favorite foods. Their relationship with food is super toxic, and for whatever reason, they just can't go there again. I know some people that were well over 400 pounds and they can't enter a fast food place anymore, and I completely understand. They came from 400 plus pounds to 160 pounds, and their relationship with food is really destructive. That's about 20 to 30% of people. And group number two, these are people that hate restricting themselves from their favorite foods. They go onto a diet and they can't stand having to give up carbohydrates or giving up meat if they go on a vegetarian or a vegan diet, and the whole time they're trying and failing and they can't understand why. And the reason is simple. Food is a really big deal for people, and most people can't restrict themselves from their favorite foods. The diet will fail pretty fast, and they'll end up going back to that food at some point anyway. That's about 70 to 80% of people. And if you're a group 1 person, the information I'm about to share with you is probably not going to be for you, but if you're a group 2 person like me and you really hate restricting yourself from your favorite foods, this information is going to be a huge help. So secret number one that you have to do is you have to feed your cells from first thing in the morning. So if your cells are happy from first thing, then you're not going to get these cellular hunger pangs all day long. And that's how people can eat a bunch of junk food and just keep eating and eating and eating, because their cells are not getting what they need. And when your cells aren't happy, they're going to keep sending signals like, feed me, feed me, feed me. So what we want to do is we want to eat super yummy food at the first part of our day that's also feeding our cells. Because when our cells are happy, then we're not insanely hungry the rest of the day, and it's easier to make better decisions. But if your cells are starving and there's a salad with chopped grilled chicken on it or 2 slices of pizza in front of you, you're always going to go towards that pizza, because your body and your whole being is craving this calorie dense food because your cells are not getting what they need. But when they are getting what they need, then they're sending signals to you of like, yeah, I could have a salad with some grilled chicken or whatever on top. I don't need that. You're going to look at really calorie dense, nutrient poor food differently. You're going to look at it and be like, I don't know if I need something that heavy right now. And that comes from when your cells are being fed, especially when you feed them really well first thing in the morning. The second thing we need to do is really simple, and all we have to do is separate our food groups. So we have proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and if we can separate those in our meals and have them with salads, which I call this and that, just having any sort of a protein or a concentrate with a salad. And in this way, you don't have to give up your favorite foods. If you like pasta, have the pasta with a really yummy marinara sauce with a salad. If you like certain meats, have your favorite meat with a salad. If there's certain fats that you like, different cheeses, or you like hummus or avocado or whatever, have these things with a salad. And our body processes these things a lot easier. When we lump all these things together into one meal, that's when things get difficult. Our body has a more difficult time trying to process a protein, fat, and a carbohydrate. You throw all that stuff together, your body's like, oh boy, I don't know if I can handle this. If you're tired of diets that force you to give up your favorite foods in order to lose weight, only to put all that weight back on once you quit that diet, then I invite you to try my completely free online program that will help you lose your first 10 to 15 pounds without giving up the foods that you love. So head on over to foodloveonline.com and get started with us today. No credit card is needed. This is a completely free online program. Even if you're incredibly busy or incredibly lazy and nothing else has worked for you in the past, this can work for you. In 3 short videos, I will take you by the hand and get you on the road to losing weight, and most importantly, happily keeping it off forever. So head over to foodloveonline.com and I'll see you over there. And that's why all calories aren't created equally. So if you take like 2 slices of pizza, which is around 500 calories, or 5 bananas, which is the same 500 calories, or a Big Mac, your body doesn't process those calories in the same way. It's really easy for your body to process 5 bananas. But if you have a Big Mac, which has carbohydrate, it has fat, it's got protein, your body's gonna be like, oh boy, how do I deal with this? Or even 2 slices of pizza, because you're dealing with fats and carbohydrates at the same time. Our body has a harder time digesting and metabolizing that food, and that's why those extra calories, it's easy for those calories to stay on. Can you imagine if you had 4 slices of pizza in a day? That's only about 1,000 calories, and that's all that you ate. Do you think that you'd end up losing weight? And a person ends up burning about 1,400 to 1,800 calories in a day. You would think that you would lose weight. You can call that the pizza diet, but it's not going to happen, because the quality of that food and the combination of that food is a nightmare for your body to digest. And I'm not saying never have pizza. I have pizza all the time, but I'm eating in a way where my body can process and metabolize it a lot easier. So the 20% of the time when I go out and I have a slice of pizza or a slice of cheesecake or whatever I want, I know that my body's not going to handle that well. And that's fine, because the other 80% of the time I'm eating in a way that is easy for my body to deal with. So that's why it's important to separate your foods. And I go off at length in my book about this and that and how to keep it simple. This is what I do at lunchtime. It's what I do at dinner time. And then when I go out, if I go to Olive Garden or wherever I go, I eat the way that I want to. If I'm in a dissension and I'm in the process of losing weight because I put on a bunch of weight, whether it's the holidays or the Super Bowl or whatever, then I can go to these restaurants and keep that idea up. I'll have a salad with a concentrate. And that's why a lot of these restaurants, whether it's Applebee's or Chili's or Olive Garden or Texas Roadhouse, all these major restaurants have menus where there's like a steak and steamed broccoli, or a piece of salmon with some steamed broccoli, because more and more people are realizing that they can still have their favorite foods. They just can't have the steak with the mashed potatoes, with the biscuit, with the brownie cheesecake afterwards. It's that combination of throwing all that stuff together that becomes a problem. The next thing that's really important, how you can lose 10 pounds in 10 days, is that you need to set yourself up with really yummy, calorie-efficient snacks. So most people eat all day long. Call it hobbit eating. They eat a morning meal, and then there's a mid-morning snack, and then there's lunch, and then there's an afternoon snack, then there's dinner, then there's dessert, and then there's usually a before-bed snack. And it's in these unnamed snack times, the afternoon snack, the mid-morning. This is when those calorie-laden protein bars, they're kind of candy bars in disguise, or having a 600 calorie caffeinated milkshake in the afternoons, which Starbucks has made billions of dollars popularizing, and I love them. But I understand, like, if I'm going to have, a chai latte this with vanilla cream, ice cream, whipped cream this, and I understand that I'm having the same amount of calories as a Big Mac. So if I just need the caffeine jolt, I might not necessarily need the calorie jolt at the same time. And so when you realize that you are eating, and most people, 70 to 80% of people eat little things all day long, not by design, but that's just how they like to roll. They're used to having some sort of a snack in the morning and in the afternoon, and having a little something before bed. But if you plan for these times, and again, I go over this in my book, it's really important because you can set yourself up with something that's super yummy, super filling, and at the same time, you're not going to add another 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 calories to your diet unnecessarily. And this is where I believe that most of the extra calories come into a person's diet, in those little snack times when they're not really paying attention to what they're eating. And the last secret in how to lose 10 pounds in the next 10 days is you really want to nail your routine. If you're going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time, you're giving your body a chance to get into a rhythm. And having that type of consistency is really, really important for diet, because your body gets used to eating at a certain time. So what happens is, if you start staying up a little bit later than normal, you're going to end up getting hungry because your body finished a food cycle, and then if it sees that you're staying up, it's like, oh, I'm going to need more energy, I'm going to need more calories in order to push forward, because it seems like the boss wants to stay up longer. If you realize like, oh, I'm staying up an hour later, and you start to feel yourself get hungry, don't grab 1,000-calorie microwavable dish from your freezer, because you don't need that energy. You're about to go to bed. But because you're staying up a little bit later, your body's going to be sending signals to you like, hey, give me something. And you should give it something. You shouldn't deprive yourself, because that's not going to feel good. But you can give yourself something simple that doesn't have a lot of calories. Fruit is great to have right before bed. You're not putting on a lot of calories, and it's easy for your body to handle that and to digest and metabolize that food. It's super, super easy. And I have a bunch of food hacks that I use before bed, and I talk about that in the book. And there's some free bonus videos that I give with the Food Love book as well. And I go over a lot of different ideas and recipes and things in those bonus videos. So if you can nail those few things, you start feeding your cells from first thing in the morning, separating your foods, get some snacks lined up for when you need them. I have them at work, at home, and in my car. And with any area of life, the more planning we do, whether it's with our kids, our spouse, our work, relationships, whatever, the more planning and attention we give to any area of life, the more success that area is going to have. And how come we don't give that same sort of attention to the area of food? We have to. If we want success in any area, you have to pay attention. So set yourself up with snacks, stick with a routine. Or if you're going out of routine, it's a Saturday night or whatever it is, just understand that you are going to get hungry after 9 o'clock. Let's just say you go to bed between 9 and 10. After 9 o'clock, if you're staying up to 11 or 12 o'clock on a Saturday night, just know your body's going to be like, okay, like we're going to keep cranking. You got to give me some calories. And it's in that moment that if you can give yourself something super yummy but calorie efficient, you're not going to tack on the extra weight. And that's why people get really frustrated, because they end up eating really well at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They don't understand why they're not losing weight. And it's these little snack times or their inconsistencies with sleep and then eating something that they shouldn't right before bed that prevents them from losing weight. So I hope these points were valuable to you. And if you want to continue getting more information, you can hit the like and subscribe button and all that stuff, but you can also check out the next video that's coming. I'm going to keep expanding on all these different topics, and they all revolve around the fact that we don't want to restrict ourselves from our favorite foods. We want to keep having our favorite foods. If you're tired of diets that force you to give up your favorite foods in order to lose weight, only to put all that weight back on once you quit that diet, then I invite you to try my completely free online program that will help you lose your first 10 to 15 pounds without giving up the foods that you love. So head on over to foodloveonline.com and get started with us today. No credit card is needed. This is a completely free online program. Even if you're incredibly busy or incredibly lazy and nothing else has worked for you in the past, this can work for you. In 3 short videos, I will take you by the hand and get you on the road to losing weight, and most importantly, happily keeping it off forever. So head over to foodloveonline.com and I'll see you over there.